There's a man who's brought more happiness to the earth than any other, in my opinion. This man gave the world this happiness through a most unimaginable way. Walt Disney was an amazing man who's changed our film industry and given the world the gift of lighthearted entertainment that all of the family can enjoy. I'm going to be talking about Walt Disney and his wife and what he gave to our world. Walt Disney always had a very creative and imaginative spirit, which can be seen throughout his childhood. Walt Disney was born in Chicago, Illinois, on December 5, 1901. Walt was one of 5 children, 4 boys and 1 girl. He moved to Marceline, Missouri and lived there for the extent of his childhood. Walt was very creative as a child and would doodle instead of do his schoolwork. Although his parents were never well off, he was able to study arts in high school and focused on photography and drawing. He also took night classes in order to enhance his drawing skills, which were already becoming very honed. Not only did he have a knack for the arts, but he also loved comedy and would sneak out of his house at night in order to perform stand-up comedy at local theaters. As you can see, at a young age, he was preparing for his future and all that it would hold for him. At 16, after being influenced by his older brothers who served in the U.S. military, Disney enlisted for the Army. He was too young, of course, so he enlisted in the Red Cross. Walt's mother had to sign a paper giving permission for her underage son to join the Red Cross. He felt a strong commissioning to go and fight in the war, so when he found out that the war was over and during his initial training, he was upset that the chance for him to be deployed was over. As stated by David, who wrote Walt Disney and the Red Cross, the next day he ended up being one of 50 chosen to be deployed over to France. There he drove an ambulance and escorted Red Cross officials. His ambulance was clearly visible, being as it was covered in cartoons that he created. Even while serving the country, he never lost sight of his creative abilities. After returning to the U.S., Disney went to the Kansas City Art Institute and met a fellow animator named Ub E. Works. Together, they decided to open up a company that made short films for a local theater. The company soon went bankrupt, though, leading them to move to Hollywood, where Disney's brother lived. With the support of Disney's brother and the 2 wives of Ub and Walt, the men started to create short movies that were distributed by M.J. Winkler and her husband. The cartoons that were created by Ub and Walt had their rights stolen by Winkler and her husband, leaving the duo again without anything. After this bad luck, yet again, while on his ride back home on the train, Disney created Mickey Mouse. Disney and E-Works restarted their company yet again and created a couple of cartoons featuring Mickey Mouse. Their first hit was Steamboat Willie, which was the first cartoon to incorporate synchronized sound. This cartoon was a jump-start to Disney's success, and he continued to create more cartoons and invent new ideas. Disney was the creator of many firsts, and his cartoon Flowers and Trees was the first cartoon to incorporate color, which won an Oscar. During all of his creations of his short cartoons, Disney also created Minnie Mouse, Donald Duck, and Goofy, all of which were huge successes. Disney decided to do something he had never done before by creating a full-length cartoon movie. Many people thought it was going to be a flop and called it Disney's Folly. This turned out to be a major miscalculation, and in 1937, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs was released. This movie won an Oscar and 7 small special Oscars to stand for the 7 Dwarfs. He continued to produce cartoons as well as full-length movies, which included Pinocchio, Bambi, and Dumbo, shortly after his first movie was released. Throughout the rest of his life, he continued to make movies and cartoons, which are now considered classics. He opened up his first theme park, Disneyland, in Anaheim, California. Walt Disney, along with members of his staff, received more than 950 honors and citations from every nation in the world, including 48 Academy Awards and 7 Emmys in his lifetime. David Lowe, the late British political cartoonist, called Disney the most significant figure in graphic arts since Leonardo da Vinci. Walt Disney was given honorary degrees from some of the nation's most prestigious universities, including Harvard, and numerous awards. Disney passed away from lung cancer on December 15, 1966. Walt Disney left behind a legacy that transcends time and brought happiness to millions of people all around the world. He pioneered new techniques in the film industry previously not even conceived of. Walt Disney will always remain in our hearts every time we see the Disney logo or a Disney character. He brought hope to the world in a time where wars and depression left a void that Disney's creations were able to fill. Thank you.